board and our employees at Batavia Downs Gaming are on a mission.
A mission to make you love coming here.
And that is each and every one of us.
We love it when people say they love coming here.
We love it when you come here.
We love when people win.
I love seeing the excitement on someone's face when we draw their name for one of our big cash drawings.
Like we said before, we don't want you to like coming here. We want you to love coming here.
Folks, and we love for joining us here on this beautiful Friday morning where we got a big weekend ahead. There's UFC, Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs are underway as well. And the Belmont Stakes is this weekend. Snuck up, but here it is. And we're here to break down the action, tell you what's going on by our sponsor, the region's premier gaming destination, Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel, where you win more, lots more. And I got the guy in charge of all things Batavia Downs, where all roads lead. Ryan Hasenauer is joining me. Ryan, thank you for taking the time. Here we are, yet another horse race, the finish of the Triple Crown.
Like you said, it snuck up on us, and again, it's a really special one because, of course, it's at not at Belmont this year, back at Saratoga, back to being 1.25 miles, not 1.5 miles. So again, you know, everyone was talking about, will there be an asterisk if the same horse wins? Well, didn't have to worry about that. The horse that won the Derby didn't want to run in the Preakness. But still shaping up to be a great race. Like, I mean, you've got the Derby winner, the Preakness winner who came second in the Derby, the horse that came third in the Derby who shouldn't have even been running in the Derby but wasn't also eligible. He'll be ready racing in the Belmont Stakes. So it's shaping up to be a really tightly contested race there at the top. Really looking forward to Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, should be a tight race. Should be a lot of fun and entertainment. I know the Downs are going to be rocking, as they always are for one of these races. But you guys have had your own busy start to the summer, and it's only going to continue because this Downs never stops. Tell us a bit about what's been going on at Batavia Downs, what people can expect over the summer.
Well, we really get excited for the summer concert series, right? We kick it off on June 20th with Queensryche. Really looking forward to seeing everybody come back out for, I think, the best lineup we've ever had at Batavia Downs for the summer concert series. Allman Betts are going to be there, which is the kids from the Allman Brothers Band. Dickie Betts and Greg Allman's kids are going to be they're in a band together. They're going to be playing some great tunes. We're taking off 4th of July, letting everybody have their weekend, and then we're back at it with Almost Queen on the 11th of July, followed up by a great. Looking forward to having those guys out here. We finish it off with an unbelievable stretch. First with the Little River Band, and then after that, we've got Lou Gramm and his final concert ever. The original lead singer, Foreigner's going to be there. After that, it's the Commodores, which is some great Motown hits. Easy Like Sunday Morning, Brick House. You hear Brick House at every wedding you've ever been to in your house, in your life. And then we're finishing it off with Kansas. So Dust in the Wind, Carry on My Wayward Son. I mean, oh my goodness. It's going to be unbelievable out there at Batavia Downs this summer for all that stuff.
When that schedule came out, Kansas is definitely one that I had circled on the calendar and had my eye on. If you're not out at Batavia Downs for this concert series, you're truly missing out, as Ryan just brought it to your attention. And to be missing out this Saturday as well. Sorry, you have more?
Yeah, so it's just going to be a great time with, like you said, with Saturday. So the Belmont Stakes at Batavia Downs. Later on today on Friday, you can go to the ITW on-site at Batavia Downs. We're doing an extra special promotion. If you bet $50 on the Belmont, so betting a $50 wager on tomorrow's Belmont Stakes, of course, you will be given a $10 wager to wager on any other track, either Friday or Saturday at Batavia Downs. This is only at Batavia Downs and only at the upstairs ITW. You have to make your wager there today, Friday, $50, and you get a $10 free bet. We've been promoting it online the last couple of days, and so we're looking forward to hopefully boosting up some of that, that pre-wagering as people get excited. But on Saturday, you should definitely join us because it's going to be an unbelievable day. It's the 7th, can you believe it, the 7th Bourbon and Whiskey Festival. We're going to have 2.5 hours of bourbon and whiskey sampling with all kinds of local bourbons and whiskeys. Some of the big national boys are going to be there as well. And then, of course, we're going to get you a whiskey glass. We're going to get you a $5 wager on the Belmont Stakes, a free program. You can pick up your free program at any OTB, Easy Bet, or at Batavia Downs, but we'll have it for you there too. And, of course, you get like $20 back in free play, all for a $35 bet. Hotel is sold out. A bunch of people want to do the hotel special, so that's a great way to take in the Belmont is get about 2.5 hours worth of bourbon and whiskey in you and then make your wagers. See me in my crazy suit. We're going to have a DJ there. We're going to have a giant inflatable, bourbon glass thing going on they're going to be installing. So I'm excited to see everybody coming out on Saturday for the Belmont Stakes.
I mean, folks, after those factors, how could you not be racing to the Downs prior to Saturday? And with the $10 free play, like you said, the pre-wagers, there's some action that a lot of people don't realize is really good in those races leading up to the main event of the night. But let's dive right into the Belmont and what it can consist of. Ryan, only 8 horses. You brought this up, so little bit of a tighter field. Obviously, you're highlighted by Journalism, who just won the Preakness, big favorite to win the Kentucky Derby when that was happening. Also got the Kentucky Derby winner, Sovereignty, Rodriguez, who I wanted in the Kentucky Derby but pulled out by familiar names. Just tell us, like, when you see these right on paper, where your head goes and what your thought process is.
Well, obviously the big 3 that come out at you right away is Sovereignty, Journalism, and of course Baeza. Obviously, they're the horse that finished 1, 2, 3 in the Derby. 2 of them took a little bit of time, took the Preakness off, but obviously Journalism came back and won the Preakness. A lot of people are talking about Baeza having maybe an upset on his mind. He's got a little bit more, rest with him before he comes back here. But Baeza had a great trip in the Santa Anita Derby, and he came second to Journalism. And Baeza had a great final trip in the Kentucky Derby, and he came in third, a neck behind Journalism. And this race is going to be the same length as, the Kentucky Derby at 1.25 miles now that it's at Saratoga. So I just don't know if I see Baeza doing anything to be able to still beat the 2 and the 7. Both those guys had a little bit of traffic. At one point, Sovereignty, who won the Kentucky Derby, was 17th, which is just insane. He's obviously a closing horse, comes from kind of farther back. And, he kind of took advantage of some of those fast early fractions. His jockey, Junior Alvarado, did a great job negotiating him around various turns. And, you watched the Derby with us. I mean, there was 19 horses in there. And so you've got a lot of traffic you got to deal with. Without a lot of traffic, it's going to be really tough to bet against the 2 and 7. And as somebody who has picked horses, like you picked Mystic Dan to win a couple years ago,
That's right.
It's like one of the things that you have to look at when you're betting horses is, how am I going to win money on this race? Well, it's one of 2 ways. Either you bet the horse that you think is going to win, 1 and 2. It's called keying a horse, right? Where you're definitely going to say, these horses are going to win. It's 1 and 2 for these. And then you've got to hope for a long shot coming up underneath. Or you just throw out the favorites and say, we're betting all long shots, and if they hit the board, I'm going to make a ton of money. This is one of those races where I don't see the latter happening. I see you betting the former and saying, okay, out of these horses in here, and look, Baeza might come third again. I don't know. But which one of these horses do you think is going to maybe hit the board third or fourth? Because I just can't see anybody beating the 2 or the 7 on Saturday. That's not to say you can't make some money. You make some of these exotic bets. I think it's part of one of the pick, the double. There's a double you can bet, the 13 and 14. So you can bet the race after the Belmont Stakes and bet the double. But the things you can kind of take a look at to try to make some money on Saturday with the Belmont Stakes.
So you're definitely, the favorites are leading the pack in Sovereignty and Journalism. Journalism being back is something we love at Trainwreck Sports. You just love to hear when journalism is thriving again as a whole.
Sure.
But so Sovereignty there as well, despite the Preakness, as you said. But who's going to sneak into that third or fourth position maybe that you have on your mind? If people are looking to place trifectas for the first time, I know a lot of people get into betting for the first time on these horse races.
Right.
Who's like some 3 or 4s you would pair together in boxes, trifectas, any of the best bets where you think you could group some horses?
I think you got to keep an eye on number 3, Rodriguez. He was supposed to be in the Kentucky Derby. He won the Wood Memorial, and then he got hurt at a foot bruise or whatever it was. There was some talk that they were going to point him at the Preakness, and then they just scuttlebutted that, and they said, no, we're going to put him right at the Belmont Stakes. You've got Bob Baffert, and you got Mike Smith. Hall of Famer right. Mike Smith, Bob Baffert, legend, trainer. So you got to keep an eye on Rodriguez, but he's a front-running horse. So if he gets out to the front and goes too fast, what could end up happening is that these closers are going to be able to close with those fast early fractions, and they're going to be able to pass him at the end. But this isn't 1.5 miles. This is 1.25 miles. It's not the test of the champion. It's a race at Saratoga. So it's going to be interesting to see that even if it's not fast early fractions, I don't know how far behind Sovereignty is going to get. I saw something online, I think yesterday, where they said something along the lines of how Sovereignty, even though he likes to be a little bit of a closer or a deep closer, he might stay more towards the front and be a quote unquote stalking horse, on Saturday instead of trying to kind of come from the far back. But, there's a couple of horses here, including Crudo, who's got a good speed figure at 100. John Velasquez. I mean, when you've only got 8 horses, Slick, you've got some great jockeys aboard. Ones that you don't want to just, like Hill Road's 10-1, but he's got a Rod Ortiz Jr. on his back. One of the best jockeys going right now. Won the Peter Pan Stakes, back in early May, just the week after the Derby. So there's some horses that might sneak in there in 3rd and 4th. So I'm going to probably mess around, be doing some 2 and 7 at the top with my tries, like 2-7 all, 2-7 or 2-7, 2-7, and maybe all, but 2-7, 2-7, and maybe Hill Road, maybe Crudo, maybe throw Rodriguez in there. And then what I like to do sometimes is flip it. So if all of a sudden one of those horses just out of nowhere wins the thing, but the 2 and the 7 come 2nd and 3rd, I'm still cashing tickets. So I think I might do a little reverse there and do something like that. But with only 8 horses, you can cover a lot of ground with maybe not so much money. And of course, if it comes in chalk with 2 and 7 at the top, maybe you might not win all your money back. But if something happens and one of these horses hits the board randomly in 2nd place, you're talking about a good payday, and then you're making all your money back plus some.
That is one great thing about horse racing. Like, even when you talk about the chalk, you're still going to get a payday if you are just tailing heavily at the end of the day, because it's not like you're getting minus odds. You're always going to be getting 2-1, 7-2s, and such like that. And
Right.
Here's the case again: 8 horses. I know we're on these favorites, and you just mentioned some names, Ryan, but if there's one that stands out to you, like a sleeper, not many people are thinking of, my eyes right away go to Rodriguez. That was my guy I wanted for the Derby. Obviously, things didn't work out in that favor. But for people that might be willing to hit generational wealth, their first time ever betting on a horse race, who should they be looking at, and why do they catch your eye?
So I think if you want to make a ton of money and you got to hope that it kind of falls your favor, I think you'd probably want to end up looking at Heart of Honor, who's the number 8 horse who did race in the Preakness, albeit finishing 5th out of those 9 horses. You've got a father-daughter combo. The daughter is the jockey, the dad is the trainer. It's a great feel-good human interest story there. This horse has never finished worse than 2nd in his entire career until he got to the Preakness, in which case he finished 5th because he had some tough competition. But, a 97 speed figure is nothing to sneeze at. And there's 103s and 101s and 109s in here on your free program you'll get from your local OTB branch. But, if Heart of Honor runs his race and finishes on top, you're talking, thousands and thousands of dollars. So maybe just I'll do a $1 trifecta, 8-2-7, 8-2-7. And, that's only, 1 times 2 times 1. That's going to be a $2 bet. That's a nice simple bet that you can make, on a trifecta. And if somehow, 8 shoots the moon, I'm going to be buying drinks for everybody.
Oh my God. I don't think anyone would be complaining about that, but hopefully everyone's going to be winning more, lots more. So official pick, I think you're going journalism.
Yeah, I think I like journalism. Obviously he's getting better every race. I know he doesn't have the ability to kind of have the rest that Sovereignty and Baeza had, but I think this is where journalism, is going to be able to maybe shake off the fact that he had some bad traffic at the Derby. Everybody, the horse that he really is, and I think journalism is going to rule the day. So I'm pulling for him.
Ryan says journalism will prevail yet again. So that'd be 2 in a row for the journalism there. Thank you, Ryan, for the breakdown. Everyone can take all this in and go bet at the region's premier gaming destination, Batavia Downs, or your local OTB, plenty around the Western New York area. Have you checked the forecast, Ryan? Are we going to be in a mud slop, kind of like the Derby?
There was a 70, not 70, it was maybe like a 30% chance of morning thunderstorms, but they should pass through and then everything should be fine by 7 o'clock at night. So that was the forecast, I think, Wednesday. So we'll have to check it again later today to see how it's moving. Obviously, they're racing, all throughout the day. They start early in the day. So they'll be grooming that track. They'll be on top of it. Those guys out there are big professionals. So that'll be good out there.
Only pro stuff at Batavia Downs. Rain, sleet, snow, or hail, this train will prevail. Ryan, just tell the people one more time about what's coming up at Batavia Downs, what they can expect this summer if they're in the area.
Sure, of course. So, stay tuned because, of course, live racing is back at Batavia Downs in late July. You can also catch us on September 6th. It's going to be the Night of Champions. So, for those of you that don't know, Batavia Downs was awarded the Night of Champions for trotters and pacers for the New York Sire Stakes. Now, what does that mean? Well, all the New York bred standardbred horses, which are the harness horses like we have at Buffalo Raceway or at Batavia Downs. They're going to be racing from all across the state. They're going to be coming to Batavia Downs for their championship night. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in purses, which means it's attracting only the best of the best. They're all New York bred horses, so no invaders coming from Ohio or Pennsylvania. Going to be just New York bred horses. And it's a huge night, Thurman's going to be there. We're going to have everybody coming out. There's going to be big pools. That's the big thing. The reason why so many casuals and people love betting the Derby is because there's so much money in the pools, and there will be on Saturday at the Belmont Stakes too, is that if you even bet chalk, sometimes you're making money. Well, this is going to be the kind of thing where we're going to have 9 or 10 horses in these harness races, and there's going to be a lot of money in these pools, and you can make a lot of money. Come out on track, enjoy yourself in the clubhouse. We're taking reservations now for a $40 night for prime rib and shrimp in the clubhouse. You can call our main office at 5853-433-3750 to make your reservations. You don't want to miss out on that. But even just taking it in from the grandstands, getting some food at 34 Rush or from the Homestretch Grill, and just going on the apron and enjoying an early September day before the big football season starts, and just enjoy a really great night, like the best night in New York State of standardbred racing. We got that cooked up for you. But sooner than that, after the Belmont Stakes this coming weekend, we have a double shot next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with events. Saturday is our Lucky Loop race. Come on out. It's instead of a 5K, we're doing laps around the track, raising money for a charity, including the Pembroke Veterans Cemetery that we have out there. Also going to be donating some money to our friends over at Roswell Park. And, you can do a relay where you and a friend decide to trade off laps. Jigster's going to be there spinning tunes for you. We're going to have all kinds of prizes, for the various age groups. Then on Sunday, it's Father's Day. And what better way to treat dad than to take him to Batavia Downs and enjoy brunch or dinner? And how about a little bit of local Federation wrestling? NCW, Nickel City Wrestling, will be in the house. Bell time is 3 o'clock for NCW, but you can take dad to brunch beforehand, watch some wrestling, then take him to dinner afterwards inside of Fortunes, and enjoy a great day of food out there with dad out of Batavia Downs.
Amazing offer for dad. And as always, so many ways to win more, lots more Batavia Downs. Folks, take this advice, get to your local OTB, get to the spot itself, Batavia Downs, and win some money on this Belmont Stakes. Should be a great time. Ryan, as always, thank you for joining me, providing your insight. And until then, tomorrow, let's have a good day and a good race now.
Batavia Downs.